Back in 1979, Monty Python released the movie The Life of Brian. And in one particular scene, one of the characters says that he wants to become a woman and be called Loretta. Yet when challenged by another as to why that was physically impossible, he simply responds by saying that, well, it's his right and that this other guy should stop oppressing him. Now, back in 1979, society and even Monty Python thought that the idea of someone changing their gender was being completely irrational. And yet here we are in 2016 where a man can choose to become a woman and be called Loretta. But what's even more than that is that everyone else must also believe that he's a woman or face possible legal consequences. How have we arrived at this point as a culture? Well, here's two basic reasons why. Now, the first reason is philosophical. Suppose in ancient Greece a philosopher came along and he drew a circle. And this represented his philosophy about life. It's everything that you needed to know about meaning and purpose, values, ethics, and morality. And it's just not that it was his opinion. This was the truth. This is what everyone should believe. But then a little while later, another philosopher comes along and says, nope, that guy's circle is wrong. My circle is the right circle. But then a little while later, a third philosopher comes along and says, nope, those two circles are wrong. My circle is the right one. A fourth philosopher comes along and says, no, my circle is the right one. No, my circle is the right one. No, my circle is the right one. And so on and so on and so on. Yet in our postmodern Western culture, we've completely abandoned this idea of there being one single circle of truth. Instead, the ruling philosophy is that we all have our own little circle of truth within us. That we are the ones that decide our meaning and our purpose, our values, our morals, and our ethics. And what may be true for me may not be true for you. And I have no right to judge you, to tell you that you're ever wrong. The most important thing is that we're all true to ourselves, that we're all true to this circle of truth within us. So if I feel as though I'm really supposed to be of a different gender than my outward appearance, then I guess the universe will just have to conform accordingly. Now, the second reason is theological. Christianity does believe in a single circle of truth, which is God's truth, and it's revealed in the Bible. And according to what St. Paul wrote to the Ephesians, the ancient Greco-Roman world in which he lived simply couldn't understand the circle. To them, it was absolute nonsense, because as a culture, they had completely given themselves over to sexual perversion. Now, if you're thinking I'm being a little prudish here, bear in mind that the sexual lifestyle of the average person back then, well, would make the modern pop star Madonna look like a virgin. It was a time of no-holds-barred sexuality where absolutely anything went, including pedophilia, which was widely accepted, especially men with young boys. Sex is one of our primal instincts, and as history clearly shows, if there are no restraints placed around it, it wreaks havoc within a society. And as our own culture is now casting off the last vestiges of Christian restraint around sexuality and returning to pre-Christian days, we shouldn't be surprised at all at the irrational behavior and beliefs that we're now seeing. Keep searching.